did it. I mean, it should go without saying, but at the same time, I feel like that's a really good number.
There was no number there. Oh, hey.
Hi.
How goes it?
It goes.
Welcome back, everybody, to Taboos.
Welcome.
The podcast where we talk about things that society would rather we don't talk about.
AKA taboo culture.
I'm getting so good at this. I'm Allie.
I'm Celeste.
And today we are here with our first adult special guest.
Special guest.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
I'm Andrew. I'm Allie's sister. Same mama and different daddies. This episode is about me being a homo. So we're going to dive deep into me being a homosexual in today's culture, growing up gay, being 20.
And fabulous.
And yeah, fabulous, obviously.
How about your goals for next year that I just found out about?
I am going to be studying in Italy for fashion marketing and management.
Get it, girl.
At Polymoda. I'm so excited. Hopefully I'll be able to get an internship right after. Well, it's required actually, so I have to. But that is my plans for the next coming year.
Awesome. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, so as Andrew stated, we are talking today about what it's like to grow up gay, especially in the Midwest, in a state that is not known for accepting anything but straight.
Straight, white.
Yeah.
Male.
I mean, it is getting better, but it's definitely
Certain
not
parts
where
of
it
the
should be.
state, without question, are getting better. Madison, Milwaukee, I feel like those are more liberal areas of the state, but definitely not where we are.
Yeah, I agree. But on that note, I actually did do some research. So a lot of my research came from Pew, P-E-W Research, DoSomething.org, and HRC.org, which, by the way, is an amazing resource. It's the Human Rights Campaign organization.
Love human rights.
And I highly suggest anybody who wants to dive more into this and what's in the works for equality, go there, read the things,
All the things.
because I'm barely going to touch it. So
3 cheers for equality.
whoop, whoop.
That was 2.
Woohoo!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Now we've got all the cheers for equality.
Just because I can't count.
Math is hard.
So in my research, I came across some statistics that stated that being LGBTQ plus is becoming more socially acceptable. In 2016, 63% of Americans said that homosexuality should be accepted as compared to 51% in 2006. So in other words, now's a better time to be gay.
I'd say so. I think today's culture is evolving, especially with social media. More people are getting knowledgeable about it. It's more represented in TV, media, all of that. I think just the representation is growing more people to the fact that being gay is okay, it's normal. Yeah, I think media is helping a lot with people coming to terms with just the fact that it's going to be normal.
So, do you guys think that, especially looking at those statistics, right? And I mean, we all know people in an older generation who are much more leaning toward a homosexual or a flamboyant personality, but they still identify as straight, even though it's like really questionable. Do you feel like this has just always been there and now it's socially acceptable and that's why it's quote unquote booming? Or do you really kind of think like this is I don't want to say new concept because it's obviously not new, but think about like baby boomer generation. Being homosexual at that time was so wrong, right? Do you think that it was prevalent there and people just didn't talk about it? Or is it more prevalent now? I'm curious your opinions.
Well, I definitely think that it is not a new thing. I mean, history in Greco-Roman times, Egyptian times, there was homosexuality. Men would choose young boys to be with. It's really a religion that brought into the stigma of it being wrong and being against quote unquote nature, which isn't true, but that's a whole other thing for another day.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it unfortunately does have to do with religion and hindrance of acceptance towards other people. And as a society, especially in America, a younger generation is moving farther away from religion. There are more and more people associating themselves with being agnostic or atheism or just whatever, just being spiritual. So I think that's a huge part of it that is allowing people to feel more safe to be who they are.
I definitely agree on that. I think especially with like older generations, I think it was something that had to be hid, and people would just go on being straight. They would get married, they'd have kids, and then they would repress that side. But I think now as time grows on, people are accepting of it, and people that were like in the older generations that had to hide it are coming out more. I think most definitely it was just a hidden thing that people just had to hide because of society. It wasn't socially acceptable.
Because religion was so prevalent.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily religion even. I think there was just such a stigma against it.
Sure.
And it was like the AIDS pandemic
Demonized.
it was demonizing the LGBT community. So I think just they had to hide it. It was more of a survival tactic.
Sure.
Yeah.
I really like the way that you said that. It's okay.
It wasn't safe. To that point, in 2016, approximately 10 million people, or 4.1% of the U.S. adult population, identified within that community, as opposed to 3.5% in 2012. So I thought that was pretty cool that it's slowly climbing up. It's not a huge hike, but
What were those years again?
2016 as opposed to 2012.
So in 4 years, that's a huge spike in 4 years.
It's half of a point, essentially, which I still think is significant.
But right, and considering in population of this country, which although there are a lot of people in this country, we're a very small country population-wise, that's a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, well, gay marriage was legalized in 2016. So I believe that just having that, knowing that you can get married, it increased the amount of people that identify as LGBT because it signified that it was safer to be gay in this country. I don't know about now. But yeah, I definitely think that just the representation of being able to get married has opened up a lot of new doors and showed people that maybe I can come out now.
Isn't it weird that having a piece of paper that gives you approval to get married is a bolster? Like, it shouldn't have to come down to that, but
Getting the government involved in your relationship should not provide any legitimacy to it, and yet here we are.
Well, I think I definitely agree with that, but I think that having that legitimacy just cements being able to get married, cements that it's safe to be gay in this country, because that is something that people strive for. Like, marriage is like the ultimate goal of a relationship, and being able to get recognized that that relationship is real by terms of government is kind of a safety for it, I guess.
And I
to
think
word it.
I think the other way that I look at it is that it normalizes it. It takes previous stigmatized relationship of being in a gay relationship, and it equalizes and provides equity back to LGBTQ community and saying, we think of you just like we think of anybody else who wants to get married, celebrate your love, we support that, which I think is great.
I think that's part of my problem, though. What I'm saying is that it shouldn't take that for people to feel accepted.
And I don't disagree with you, and yet at the same time, we need to celebrate that progress.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand why they don't feel that way. I'm just saying society needs to be better.
Oh, yeah. No, hands down. That's what I'm pretty sure this whole podcast is about.
Yeah. For most topics, I don't know, some upcoming topics. Let's not, society.
Let's maybe not, but more to come. Stay tuned.
So I came across some interesting research when diving into this, and this was another Pew survey.
Pew pew.
So in the LGBTQ plus community in 2013, 40% of that community stated that they were bi, 36% stated they were gay, 19% were lesbians, and 5% were transsexual. A large majority of bisexuals are in opposite sex marriage and therefore are less likely to be out to their peers, which is really interesting to me and also makes sense because it's less risky.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I also would be curious of those people who, and I'm not illegitimizing anybody's vote about like how they aligned, right? But I would be curious of that group of people who claimed that they were bisexual, if they truly are bisexual or if it's more of a curiosity. And again, that stigma around being something other than homosexual kind of pushed them to believe like, oh, well, just because I'm curious about something or I appreciate the beauty of another gender, does that make me bi? Like, did they almost like self-label? I would be curious if that's part of it, or is that super insensitive to think?
I hear your point, and I think for younger individuals, that could be true.
Okay.
I think these were mostly, I hate using the word developed, but
Like cognitively and sexually developed
yeah, people
people.
who have had time to discover
themselves.
who they were
Yeah.
and have solidified. So I would think that this is more representative of people who know for sure. I also think that honestly, being in a relationship with a female is, or a male, or the same sex, is hard as hell.
Being in
And
a relationship is hard as hell.
this is also true.
Andrew's like, yes, girl.
And I know when I was married, or when Nick and I got married, I was told I was no longer bi because I was married. So
I literally am looking at you. I'm more surprised that you said when I was married than when I came out and saying that I was bi. I was like, when you are married. Like, what time is it? What?
did I say that weird?
You did.
Should I re-say that?
No, it's in there. No, it's in there. When I was married. Carry on.
When Nick and I got married, I'm still married.
Always have been.
Thank you. So that was news to me. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I think there's a huge thing with the bi aspect of the LGBT community that I think a lot of people discredit them for being bi, especially even in the LGBT community. Like gays always think, well, if you're bi, it's the next step to being gay. I mean, even in my coming out, like I was like, oh, I'm just bi, but I was gay. But I think a lot gay community and straight community both discredit them because they think, well, you're either gay, you're either straight, you can't be both, you can't pick
They like
both.
force a label.
Yeah.
Which is so wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's why like people in marriages to the opposite sex, bi people are discredited in their own community and the straight community. So I think staying in a relationship, marriage, and not coming out as bi is part, like, it's a scary thing just to come out as bi, and being married and bi, I think your spouse, your family, your friends will all be like, well, now you're gonna be fucking the same gender now, like you're gay basically, you're gonna divorce me. Like I think a lot of things come with coming out in a marriage. I mean, I wouldn't know of anything about it because I'm not married. Will not be married for a while. But yeah.
Power Z snap.
I
Could you say that about any sexual orientation, though, in the LGBTQ community? Like, I think about the people who are coming out, the men who are coming out who have been married for 20 years and have 3 kids. Or I think about the transgender woman, right? Like,
yeah.
I just feel like I know that we as a society, for the most part, have evolved, and we are embracing the LGBTQ plus community for all of its beautifulness and all of the goodness that's in it. But at the same time, on an individual experience level, I feel like the stigma that you're referring to is kind of across the board.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, come out gay anywhere, there's gonna be something with it.
Somebody's going to be not happy.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone, which
Haters
I
gonna hate.
live for making people unhappy. But yeah, I don't like being, are we still sticking with the marriage aspect
You
of
can
it?
take it wherever you want to, baby.
Well, I don't know where I was going to take this. But like, I think just coming out anywhere is just a really scary thing. And especially older, like if you're damn near like 50, like coming out is gonna be like, well, shit, like you lost a whole experience of your life, and you also made so many, like your family, your friends, and everyone, like if you have children, they all think of you as a certain way, and going away from that is going to be scary for anyone. And honestly, like if you're like in a marriage and have kids, like I wouldn't blame anyone for being like, well, this is new information, I need time with this.
Right. But at the same time, be true to yourself. And
Yeah.
Live your truest self and live your life.
And like, I think even being in like a marriage and you suddenly like you realize, or you've known forever that you're gay, it doesn't like discredit any of like the love and like the kids that you've had, if you have kids,
Right.
or being in a marriage. Because like,
It doesn't change who you are.
yeah, it doesn't change who you are. Like it's just another aspect of like your personality.
It doesn't change the love.
You still love, you still are the way you are. It's truly, and that's really frustrating for me being an outsider of the LGBTQ community, right? It's really frustrating for me that people just forget, just because I am physically attracted to and want to have a sexual relationship with X, Y, or Z doesn't change who I am as a person. It doesn't change the way that my heart operates and the way that I show love and affection. Like, who I am banging is none of your concern. It doesn't matter what it is.
So, with having said all that, I'm here to bring everything down a notch.
Per usual, we were talking about love and respect and good things, and here comes Allie
Yep.
with statistics.
Downer.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm sorry. So, obviously, there are less ideal societal impacts of being part of this community. 42% of people who are within that community report living in an unwelcome environment. 1.8% of gay and lesbian youth report severe social isolation, which honestly I thought was really low and seems,
That does seem really low.
yeah, so,
And I feel like all of that percentage is here in Wisconsin.
yeah.
Maybe some in Montana.
And I know that we can dive into your experience on that more later because I have some questions.
I do too.
The
Your little face is so cute.
LGB youth seriously contemplate suicide at almost 3 times the rate of heterosexual youth. Young people who are LGBTQ+ and who are out to their immediate families report feeling happier than those who aren't.
I feel like that should go without saying.
Yeah.
Children who can rely on their, not even children, but you said youth.
Yeah.
People who can rely on their immediate surroundings and their families, like, even if it's not their family, but the friends that they make their family, right? Like, that should go without saying. Keeping secrets makes people sad.
Yeah, I read that back and I basically went duh in my head, but I still thought it was important to state.
It is important, and I basically said duh out loud, but like in a much nicer way. I guess my biggest question, I've known you for a long time, and my biggest question, I've known you were gay for a long time, right? Because I was not part of the crew that was a secret from. But I guess I have personally never experienced you in a sense that you were overly sheltered, because our interactions together have always been in Allie's presence with like limited family, right? Like, or just you and I, or you've babysat Tiny before. And I've only really ever seen you as Andrew, right? Like fabulous, beautiful, completely yourself, Andrew. Can you help me understand what that like double life looks like of being fabulous Andrew versus having to be like hidden Andrew? Like, that seems exhausting.
Well, like, I don't think I really had to hide that
Okay.
much about myself to like my peers and everything.
Sure.
I think more so I hid it from my family. Not even like, I hid it from my family 7th, 8th grade. And then I came out to Allie and like,
If I remember right, you were in high school, but I've known since you were 3. But I think what solidified it was you had floor-to-ceiling drapes in your bedroom.
You know what I heard about the drapes?
you know,
too?
I got rid of the drapes.
I heard.
And they're
I do.
gone.
I remember
I
hearing
did
about
not
the drapes.
like them. They were blackout
not
drapes. I did not
like
like them. But yeah, I've been out to my peers since I was like in 7th grade, and honestly, like, I never got bullied or anything for being gay. I think I got more bullied for being the race that I am.
What
than
race are
being-
you? Can you just share that with our
I am
listeners?
a mixed god.
I love that.
I
love
am
that endorsement.
half white and then half Filipino, but
Beautiful as can be.
the white people at my school cannot distinguish that race.
We look identical, actually.
Yeah, totally identical. The purple hair and everything.
Yeah, it really. You guys, identical twins. I
Like,
can't even tell.
Like, look at us.
Yeah, Allie's like fair skinned, nearly translucent.
Well,
You have
a lot of my
beautiful
friends,
365 tan.
a lot of my friends like forget that you exist. 'Cause they're like, oh,
Rude.
you have a sister? I totally forget that you have a sister.
It's
I'm just
only
like,
because you're
yeah.
significantly older than Andrew.
Hi, I'm here and I exist.
That is true.
And I'm pretty fucking awesome. Thank
Dear
you.
Andrew's friends.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah, dear Andrew's friends, she's here.
She's
You
not
can
going
only hear her
anywhere.
voice, but
She has purple hair.
she has purple
She's
hair.
so beautiful.
She's tall.
We
But
love
yeah,
her.
I amazing, outstanding, show-stopping, never been seen before.
You are a goddess.
Honest. But I never like had to hide myself from like my peers or anything, which was honestly weird. But school, like, no one really even gave a shit that I was gay. People were honestly annoyed that I didn't come out.
Were they like, duh?
They were like, duh. They were literally like, duh. They were literally just asking me, like, when are you? Even like the straight guys that like played football, they would ask me, like, are you gay? And I was like, no. But they were just like, come on, Andrew, like, just
Don't
come
lie
out
to me.
already.
Don't lie to me, bro.
But I think I had a very different experience of being gay, like during high school and everything, because of my personality, to be honest, and like how I present myself and like the people that I associated with, because some of them were scary and people would not mess with them, and that's how I got my protection from everyone. But
You guys go to the same high school?
she went the first year that my high school was built,
Oh, bougie.
right?
I know this high school, and I went to a pretty predominant high school in our area, and your high school was bougie as fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. Now I feel super old, but I was also part of the super cool goth ICP Juggalo gang.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
It was great times.
So we're gonna ignore that part, but
Excuse
would you
me?
say
That is denying part of her.
we would? I know, but I'm not a good enough person to accept that part of Allie. I'm just not. But would you say, in your experience, so Andrew's talking about that school being just really accepting and really open it and well, or his experience of that school? I got a firm no and like a hand wave. Would you say that your experience at that high school is different than Andrew's and what he's saying?
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's a significant time lapse in between.
What is that time lapse, Allie?
I don't fucking know math. Jesus, woman.
Can you just guess? 10 years?
I graduated in 2004.
I was 4, he says.
Hey, here, let me do some quick math.
His face, you guys, seriously. I was 4.
16 years ago. 16 years ago. Thank you.
Math is hard. We're all doing it. We're all looking at calculators.
Yeah. So there was a 16-year difference, and to quantify what my experience was like, I cut my hair short and was absolutely destroyed socially for being a lesbian because I chopped my hair off.
Which is so, like, what?
I didn't care, but
No, I know, but, like, you couldn't, at the time, that was like, you couldn't have short hair without it making you a lesbian?
yeah. And I was dating a guy.
What?
So,
Bitches.
yeah. Fuck them all.
Fuck them all. Fuck haters. Point your toes.
Luckily, I had an amazing group of friends and made it through unscathed for the most part.
Shout out to Elsie. We love you.
Hey.
Also, isn't it fair that you guys grew up in a very religious household, which isn't a bad thing at all, but for you specifically, did you have a conflict with that, being in a religious household? And I don't know your personal religious alignment anymore, but like, I know that you grew up that way. Being gay, did that create a conflict of itself for you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like going to church and then like hearing the sermons about being gay is wrong, and I'd always be like, well, fuck, like
I'm wrong.
I'm
then.
going to hell then, I guess.
Yeah.
But like it was all in best intentions, but like my mother and like my stepdad really tried to shove like religion down our throats, and I will say, like, in the first part of me coming to my sexuality, like that was an aspect of it. I was like, well, fuck, like God's going to reject me, like everyone's going to reject me. Like that was definitely a scary part of my mind. I now am agnostic. I don't believe in any religion necessarily, and I do think it is part of being gay. Like I was like, fuck, like if they're not going to accept me, I'm going to find a community that will.
Well, not only that, but like how, if you aligned with that religion and you believe, I am not picking a religion right now. I'm just saying because your family is Christian. Is that true? Okay.
Christian, Lutheran, something
Christian,
around
Lutheran,
that
whatever,
lines.
Midwest. But you're of this faith that says God created me this way.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I'm sure that you struggled with, how could God have made me this way, but also not love me being this way?
Yeah, no, I definitely contemplated that before when I was coming to terms. But at the same time, I kind of always had an attitude where like, if they don't accept me and I know that this is who I am, then why would I believe that? Like, why would I give into something that hates me like that?
Which is so big of you, because there are so many young people who are identifying their sexuality and working through that, and who are in religious environments, and they don't have that attitude. So round of applause to you, Andrew, for just always being your fabulous self and really identifying fuck the haters. Like, I have personally always known that about you. So I mean, cheers to you. But also, thank you for saying the words for people who might be listening who don't have that attitude and that mentality.
Oh yeah.
That's actually one of the things that was on my list of questions. Was I was super intrigued when you were going through confirmation, how you were handling that in juggling that rite of passage, quote unquote, within that religion and your sexuality. And I didn't want to approach you on it because I didn't want you to potentially view religion in any sort of negative light if you were still leaning towards the Christian faith.
Which is fine. Like, you could, is it fair to say that you could be gay and also be a Christian?
Oh well, yeah, definitely. During confirmation though, I was already seeing things about the religion that I was like not backing up. I was that one bitch that always would ask questions that they wouldn't be able to answer. I was like, well, if God exists, then what created God? Like, what was there before everything else?
Yeah.
And the teachers would get pissed at me because I'd always ask that, and I'd ask that to my peers too. I was like, oh, what was before that?
Why don't
Like,
you
what is
sheeple
the
ask these
beginning
questions
things?
too?
Like, there was like so many questions that I had during that time, and it was because I was coming to terms with my sexuality that I was like questioning everything about religion. I was like, well, this doesn't make sense, and this doesn't make sense. Why do they hate me for this then?
You and I had a very different experience in that, because when I was going through confirmation, I was one of those people that swore that, like, bet the pastor $100 or something, I'd still be going to sermon 10 years from then.
You made it 10 days.
And then I hit high school and I started studying other religions, and I mean, that's all she wrote. But one thing I am really glad on is the fact that the Christian community, and I'm not so sure across other religions, but mostly the Christian community, seems to be a lot more accepting of the LGBTQ plus community, and it makes me really happy to see that occurring, that level of acceptance, because religion is a hard thing to change. And some of the ideas within it are good. I might not agree with all of it, but
The core concept is good, right? Like, love thy neighbor. There's nothing wrong with that statement. Like, it's a good philosophy. And this is my position. That's a good philosophy. It's just more of how it's taught, and the concept of, if you don't love thy neighbor, you're going to hell.
Well,
Like, that's a hard trade-off. What if my neighbor's a fucking asshole?
I think one of the other things is loving everybody is a core part of that religion, and accepting any community that you don't understand, as long as they're not harming other people. That's what it should be. And this occurring within those religions is very important, and a sign of our society evolving, and hopefully it just keeps continuing.
I do think it's fair to say, though, as part of that conflict is, and that concept, right? Let's go back to that for just a second. This is not a religious episode. Maybe we'll have one.
Stay tuned.
But what I think is just more complicated about that is you're teaching these concepts, you being like the royal you, aka religion, is teaching these concepts. Love everybody, respect everybody, cherish everybody. Everybody has value and worth. God created all people. And yet there's so much hatred and fear mongering and brainwashing in that process too. Love everybody. Everybody was created equal except for these people. But they're not everybody. Like, love thy neighbor means the black ones, the gay ones, the everyone's. Like, that's what that means. And I just don't understand where that comes from. I don't understand where that aspect of religion comes from.
Religion conforms to what they want people to believe. The term homosexual is not in the Bible. It's not. But the Catholic Church changed it because they wanted to
They wanted a
ostracize these
label.
people.
Yeah.
And
Do you remember what the original translation?
I believe it's pedophile, but I can't say for sure.
Really?
Yes. But
Allie's
there's a
saying
lot-
yes, which means yes.
No, please note, I didn't backtrack this, but I did see it on Facebook Knows All. Okay, I'm kidding. Please do not use Facebook.
Please don't use Facebook as a source of your
The
information.
Google has spoken.
Use actual paper, like go do your actual fucking research instead of going onto Facebook or
Use
Twitter.
actual paper.
But yeah, no, religion has always tried to, they change it to fit their agenda and what they want to perceive everyone as. But I do believe like the core values of Christianity and all religions is supposed to be love. But I think a lot of it has been skewed over time. I mean, the Bible has been rewritten like millions of times. Like, you really can't say what the original Bible was. And I think over time, I mean, just look at like history, like the Crusades, everything. It was to fit the religion at that time. Everything, you had to conform to that.
This turned into a giant rant.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Do you mind if I continue with my
No, I would
my
love to hear more of your. I want Allie. Can we stop talking about church and instead talk about state? Please educate me on some state.
I love this plan. Okay, so in 2009, the Senate approved the Matthew Shepard Act, which outlaws hate crimes based on both sexual orientation and gender identity. Side note, the episode on Matthew Shepard of You're Wrong About, highly recommend looking into it. It's super interesting.
Is that another podcast?
It is. It's another podcast.
Shout out to You're Wrong About.
They're amazing. They have a lot more fans than us.
We love you. This isn't even a plug. We just love you.
Yep.
That was it.
In 2007, oh look, I did this backwards.
Allie is silently laughing. She's doing the thing. Her shoulders are shrugging. There are tears.
The Employment Discrimination Act passed Congress in 2007. It's the act that prohibits discrimination of sexual orientation in the workplace, specifically during hiring. As a side note, as of 2020, 29 states have not outlawed anti-LGBTQ plus discrimination.
Which I think is so weird. Like, I don't even know if this is what you're talking about, but like, why does my employer need to know?
Oh God, I agree 100%. I think that applications shouldn't have to have names or genders.
Or race, or, I mean, your name, maybe your name. I understand where you're going with that, of like the misidentification of names and how names can be appropriated to different stigmas and racism and all of that. Like, I hear you. I do feel though, like if I'm going to interview you, I need to know your name is Allie. Okay, so like names I get, but race, orientation, where you live, like all of that. If I'm married, why does my marital status make a difference on if I should work here or not? Like, I understand for employment benefit purposes, but you don't need to know that up front. What census does that make sense for? Why?
I agree. The don't ask, don't tell policy, which restricted lesbians, gays, and bisexuals in the military from openly serving, was lifted in 2011. However, people who are transgender have been banned under the Trump administration as of 2019.
You know what I remember so specifically? I was too young to really understand at the time that the don't ask, don't tell was lifted. But I remember that conversation happening, and I remember it being a really big deal. And in my house, it wasn't particularly a big deal because we don't have a military family, and also my family is primarily hetero, so that did not affect me in that way. But I do remember this being like a news thing. I just was too young to really understand it. The transgender thing, though, I do very specifically remember that, this because it was more recent, obviously, but also because cognitively I was there. I am an adult, I am a taxpayer and a voter, and I understand, right? And also, like, what absolute bullshit. What flaming fucking bullshit. Any man or woman that gets that uniform on and is willing to sacrifice their life for this country, who gives a shit what is under their uniform?
Exactly. I don't care what's between your legs, what you identify as,
what bathroom you use,
who you love.
No.
If you want to serve our country in that manner, fuck yeah. You do you, and thank you.
Yep.
So I have a question for you guys.
Ready.
What was the first state to legalize same-sex marriage?
Can I guess before can I guess? California. Andrew's
I
just
already saw it on the screen.
daring. Andrew cheated.
New York.
So I actually thought the same as you, Celeste. I thought it was California. Massachusetts.
Oh, go Massachusetts.
In 2003, Massachusetts became the first state to legalize same-sex marriage via a court ruling, and then Bush struck it down with DOMA. So
George W.
I'm pretty sure it was DOMA. I could be wrong there. In 2015, marriage equality became a reality with a Supreme Court decision in Obergefell versus Hodges in a landmark 5-4 decision that marriage equality became land of the law and granted same-sex couples in all 50 states the right to full and equal recognition under the law.
You know what's interesting about that, though, is that although, yes, marriage-wise, yes, but there are still states that severely struggle with same-sex marriages in insurance policies, in life insurance policies, in pension plans, in all of that stuff. So I guess as a simple-minded loving, accepting citizen of all, I don't understand how you can say, I have the right to be married to whoever I want to be married to, but JK LOL, if I pass away, my partner, my same-sex partner, does not get my pension plan.
Thank you for that segue.
You're very welcome. That was so unplanned, you guys.
It was beautiful, though. So in 2019, the Equality Act was passed by the House of Representatives and is still awaiting moves from Congress. The Equality Act would provide consistent and explicit non-discrimination protections for the LGBTQ plus community across key areas of life, including employment, housing, credit, education, public spaces and services, federally funded programs, and jury service. Go to hrc.org to find out more and find out how you can get involved in convincing Congress to fucking move on this.
Fucking move, Congress. Taboos has sent you a notification to fucking do something.
That's all I had on the legal stuff.
I liked your legal stuff. Thank you for merging church and state right there. And I'm so glad I could make that segue for you. That was so unintentional.
I like your legal stuff.
Ooh.
We covered all of my questions except for, hi, what's dating like?
I do. Okay, so moving on from church and state, and I'm so done with the boring statistics stuff because although it's important,
Excuse you.
I am saying,
I'm offended.
You're not. Although I'm
It took
saying,
a lot of work to copy and paste this stuff.
no, I write my own notes. Thank you.
I know that you cannot hear Andrew, but I am receiving flack from all sides, and I'm not a fan of this.
Your statistical data is so important, but what I really want to get into, I'm so excited about, Andrew, I want to hear about your love life. I want to hear about dating, especially in this community. I want to hear about the things. I want to hear about what you worry about.
Well, you want to know about my dating life?
I do.
Who was your first crush, and what was your first date like?
My first crush was actually during religion class. He went to my school. He was a baseball player. He's not cute.
He's not cute.
Well, not anymore.
Okay, who was your first celebrity crush?
I don't really even know. My
Really?
first one,
Just-
I really don't know. Well,
The first one that you remember. What is the first celebrity crush that you can identify? and
Dylan
remember?
O'Brien from Teen Wolf.
I'm gonna pretend I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
no, I totally.
I feel fucking old.
Yeah, no, it was a TV show that it was on MTV. It was a while ago, but he was definitely a celebrity crush.
Okay.
He wasn't my first one in any doubt.
Okay,
but
but the first one you
yeah, I can remember.
Okay, what was your first date? Oh.
He looked way cuter in the TV show, so
Allie
fuck
just,
all you.
Allie just okay. Okay.
My dating life though is very non-existent.
Non-existent. Is that because? Do you feel like that's because we live in the community that we live in, or do you feel like that's because you aren't interested? Or tell me more
I'm
about
the
this.
elite bitch in this place.
You are.
No,
He says that with his pinky out on his microphone like a bougie ass bitch.
but that ass, the gay selection around here is very horrible. Me and my gay friends, only two, we were the main bitch, best gays in our high school at that moment in time. And especially being gay, dating is very hard. You can't go when you're straight. You can't just go up to someone and be like, I think you're cute. Do you want to go on a date? It's not like that.
But why isn't it? Because you'd get your ass kicked if they weren't gay, or because
I hate crime would occur upon me.
Okay, all right. So the other question I want to ask before we continue down this path, Andrew, please, for our listeners, tell us how old you are.
I am 20.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you feel like perhaps your experience with the gay community in our community is more limited to your age genre than it is? I know a lot of really beautiful, wonderful, very amazingly all the finger snaps gay men in my age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like maybe it's your bracket, or is it truly our community?
The bracket.
Okay.
This is a controversial thing too.
Welcome to our podcast, Taboos, about taboo culture.
Yeah, but my specific type and a guy is more masculine. I like a guy that masculine. I like a masculine guy who muscles. I like him tall. And there's not a lot around here. And
They're just not gay.
yeah.
Okay.
And the one that I had went and fucking joined the military. Yeah, the gay selection around here is just very limited. And honestly, like I'm just like not interested in anyone that's around here just because I feel like they have such a
Narrow view.
Not just like not necessarily narrow, but like kind of know how everyone's life is gonna play out. And I like a little spice in there. I like to know, like, it might be the Gemini bitch in me, but like
Girl,
I like
I'm a
someone
Gemini
that like.
too, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Girl, you a Gemini?
May 24th.
Girl, I'm May 21st. Damn. Okay. But like, I need.
Allie's a Cancer. She doesn't get it.
Wait, you're a Cancer?
How did you not know that?
Oh my God, you're emotional.
I'm your sister. I'm dead inside, so.
But you're very emotional, aren't you?
No, you got the wrong
What?
sign.
Bitch, I know my signs. I know a Cancer emotional.
Tiny is wearing a constellation shirt today too. I just want to throw that out there.
But what were you saying again? Oh, about my dating life.
We
Very
were talking about your
non-existent,
dating
yeah.
life.
I just have something to say. There are masculine gay men in our community. I know some. However, they're not out. I'm super curious as to if that plays into it too.
I was curious about that.
Is it less likely to be out as a gay man that appears to be more straight, who this is not meant to be offensive, but you are gay. Like anybody meets you,
They know.
they know. But
I do, like, you know I'm gay, but like based on how I talk, how I present myself, and like what I wear
But
sometimes.
you're so fabulous. Like you really are. You are
But,
so
like,
fabulous.
Going back into high school, like I definitely like I presented myself a certain way that like people like they knew I was gay because I was out, but like people weren't like, oh, this.
You weren't like overly flamboyant, which there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with. You just
no,
weren't
there's
that.
nothing wrong with. And why I was saying it was a controversial thing that like I like more masculine men is because in the gay community it is seen sometimes as like internalized homophobia that you are attracted to masculine men and not feminine guys. But I definitely don't agree with that because like why the fuck would I be internalized homophobia and like a certain like it's a type.
yeah, so I read up on that today actually, and I was like, what the fuck? What does who you're attracted to have anything to do with your sexuality?
I
Okay,
think
that statement is weird, but you know what I
No,
mean.
but I do understand that. But also that could be said about a lot of so this conversation isn't about race, but I'm gonna say this because this fits this thread, right? People who fetishize a certain race, like it isn't, oh, I am attracted to X type of man, like I am attracted to this person specifically, they happen to be another color. It's, oh, I will only date black men, or I will only date Hispanic women, or whatever. That in itself is a form of racism. It is a form of racism, which is wrong. Like sexualizing a race is wrong. So what I understand what Andrew is saying.
Well, one thing I just had quick to say was, here's my thought process on it. If my type were a very effeminate male, does that make me a lesbian? Why does
shouldn't.
who appearance-wise you're attracted to impact your sexuality? That's what I don't understand in all this.
No, I also don't understand that.
Yeah, no, people definitely think that it's internalized homophobia if you like more masculine guys because they think that, oh, because you're not attracted to feminine guys, you're homophobic for that. But like I'm not homophobic. The fuck? I'm gay. How can I mean, you can be homophobic and gay because you can have like, you can be in the closet and be like projecting that onto people. But personally, I don't think that's like,
I don't think that's you.
No, I think it's a type thing.
Yeah, we share the same type. That's amazing.
I was just thinking that everybody in 300 is attractive.
I don't think you're wrong. Gerard Butler was on my hall pass list for a long time. Unfortunately, he got a wee bit old and he is still beautiful, but he is no longer on my hall pass. You can have him. I'll take Hobson. He's my new number one. I think the only other thing that I really want to talk about with you, what are your greatest ambitions? Like just in general. Like what are your greatest ambitions as Andrew, as a person?
I want to change this bitch.
I love that.
I basically want to get rich just to change the world. But I do want to get rich just for other things too, because I like things. I like clothes.
I know.
I like cars. I like houses. But like the only way, like basically I'm going to Italy so I can get the education I need so I can build a business, sell that bitch, and then use that money to make more and then do more with the world. Because like I think I know what I want to do to help people. That's basically my greatest aspiration, help people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I'm getting is Taboos is going to be funded by Andrew.
Pretty much. Yes.
Excellent.
I will fund
I love this plan.
I will fund. We have it recorded. Andrew will fund.
Nope, not yet.
I will fund this bitch.
Now we have it recorded.
Now we have it recorded.
I will advertise this bitch.
Love that. Okay, so my other question.
I'll get celebrity guests on this bitch.
My other question along those lines of aspirations are like, do you have any aspirations specifically about like your future as it relates to a love life and a family, or like
Yeah.
are you just not there yet? Which is
No,
fine.
I definitely always like dream about it. I want to foster kids. I want to adopt kids. I want a husband, but like if that man don't come, then I guess I can do it on my own.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, cuz I mean, personally, I don't need no man
No.
at all. And I've known that for a while cuz like not dating literally anyone for the whole 20 years that I've been alive. I'm just like, well, like
For
if I
all
don't
20
get
of my years.
Yeah, I know I'm so old. But like if it's going the way it's going, I don't know if I'll get one. But that's just because I'm picky.
You know what? That's just here though. That's just here. You're gonna
Yeah.
go venture the world where
Yeah, like I
it's
want
big
to.
and beautiful and
Yeah, and I want to like experience all kinds of people before. Like I want to have like a dating life. I want to like experience everything that should have experienced during high school and eventually just like settle down, get some kids. I want a big family. I mean like sort of big. Only if I'm rich. That's the only reason I'm good.
We've already decided you're gonna be rich.
Oh,
so
like it's in my plan, and if I don't become rich,
kill me now.
I literally I can't support the life that I want to have without being rich. And if I don't make it myself, I'm gonna get a sugar daddy.
I would just like to state that you like cars, but currently don't have one.
Okay, bitch, what the fuck?
Why would
That
you
was
throw-
rude.
Why would you throw shade on him?
I
like
am
that?
saving money, and I am still living at my parents' house and driving my parents' cars, but that is because I'm saving money for college, and I am
Which
being.
is international.
It is an international. It is cheaper, but that is the only. I don't know why you had to bring that up. I don't get enough from it from my friends apparently, and now my sister has to read me. But okay.
I feel like we have to disclaimer. Mom, if you're listening, you have raised amazing children.
Amazing. The most amazing children. I am such a big fan of your children.
Maybe not Avery.
No, Avery. I love Avery. He's so good.
Your mom goals. Well, non-LGBT students struggle the most with school, classes, exams, and work. Their LGBTQ plus peers say that the biggest problems they face is unaccepting families.
That's so sad. Andrew, do you have some things you'd like to say about that?
Well, there's a lot to digest there.
So you and I have always had, in my opinion, a good relationship, and I've always known you were gay. But do you remember the day that you came out to me?
I don't remember.
Here's what Allie does, and we've already experienced this on this podcast. Allie has such a specific memory. This is a trap, just so you know. Saying I don't remember is really the best bet because she is really ready to trap you in her answer, and if you don't get it right, you're gonna look like an idiot. So Allie, share with us how Andrew came out to you.
Let me regale you with this tale and set the scene.
Ba, 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 ba.
I went to a house, and you and Mom had just gotten into some sort of a gigantic fight because you were doing phenomenally in school.
Oh yeah.
All the sarcasm. So Mom asked me to go talk to you, and I came into your room, and you were on the bed, and you were in tears, and I asked you what's wrong, and you wouldn't say, and I said, is it about school? And you said, no, it's not about school. And I said, can I take a guess? And you said, sure. And then I said, if I guess wrong, you can't be pissed at me. And you agreed. And I said, you're gay. And you said, how'd you know? And I said, exactly what I just said. I knew since you were 3 and you have floor-to-ceiling drapes.
I do remember this day, actually, because I was in tears, and it was probably about school.
I'm curious as to why you kept it from me.
I think I probably just like assumed just because I'll come out to you, like it's coming out to the whole family, because I mean, I was like 7th grade, 8th grade at that time. I believe it was during that time because that's around the time that I started to come out to people more. And
you, Andrew, did you know that you were gay prior to that?
oh yeah, like I've known for like since like 6th, 7th grade, and like I said like I was bi and everything before. And I never really had like I had an issue with coming out to, like I didn't have like a personal issue with being gay, like I didn't like be like, oh, I'm gay, like that's disgusting, like something like that. I was more so scared of like how my family would react to it. Not even my peers, 'cause I don't give a fuck about what they think. Throughout my whole like schooling, I'd never really cared, but like coming out to family members is so much more like intimate.
Yeah.
And like I do think that me coming out to you was like something scary that like I would have to tell the whole family about.
Just to clarify, you could have been like, I'm a fucking unicorn, and I would have been like, awesome, I love you.
And I never had an issue. Like, I knew that you would, like, accept it. I mean, you were goth during high school. I mean, what else? Like, what can, like, you have to accept me.
You have to accept me.
I didn't know that being goth was the line for whether or not you're an accepting individual.
Well, I mean, goth is just like...
It's
you're
pretty far out there.
It's far out there. If you can accept being goth, you can accept being gay.
Allie, you listen to ICP. I'm just saying, if you could get down with that, you could deal with your brother being gay.
That's basically what I was saying.
That's what, I speak his language.
But, like, yeah, I definitely coming out to a family member is just, like, way harder than coming out to like a peer, because
Do you think part of that is because like you can replace peers? Like peers are they come and go,
Yeah.
right? Whatever. But like it takes a lot more to step away from your
Yeah.
family.
And I was scared of my family rejecting me because of it.
Yeah.
Not Allie rejecting me, but like my parents.
How did you come out to our brothers?
Well, interesting question. Actually, I didn't come out to them. My friend did it
Oh no.
on accident. And Adam has always been more supportive.
How much
Like,
younger is Adam than you?
I don't...
Please don't say I don't know.
3 years younger than me.
Okay.
Also taller than me, might I
And
add.
so handsome. Like you're so beautiful, but Adam is so handsome.
Are you trying to say that he's more?
No, I'm just saying he's handsome. I'm just saying. Like,
And I'm not?
I just said you're beautiful.
Okay, thank you. I needed that like, because all my friends say that Adam's the attractive one,
You're so
and they
beautiful.
they just like they forget about me, and I'm like right there in the room, and they're just like, oh, Adam's so pretty, yeah. But my friend, we were at my friend's house, and she accidentally blurted out loud, and then she didn't realize that I didn't come out to them, so she just kept on talking about it, and I was like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? And then we didn't really talk about it, and then because I think Adam kind of forgot, or just like didn't hear it, or just like pretended he didn't hear it, and
He did not forget. He definitely acted like he didn't hear.
oh yeah,
Because
but
he's so good.
but then I was at my friend's cabin, and then these two girls that were in his grade, who's my friend's sisters, texted Adam telling him that I was gay because they thought that he knew too. And we talked about it, and he was like, oh, cool with it. Adam has also been a very good supporter too, because I just remember this one time me and him were going to hang out, but he was with some friends. But before I met up with them, Adam's friend apparently was like homophobic or something, and Adam told the friend, he was like, you say anything to my brother, I'll beat the fuck out of you, like don't say anything.
I love
And
that.
Adam told me that, and I was like, bitch, I fuck with you, like I actually fuck with you. And me and Adam have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
Me and Avery, like,
You know what though? It's not really fair.
I mean-
Avery's so much younger than
oh
you.
yeah, no, it's just because Avery's younger.
Yeah.
And he's like,
But he's a
dude,
good
but-
boy.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean, yeah. My siblings have definitely been so supportive. My family has been, for the most part, really supportive. I actually didn't come out to Scott.
Who is
It's-
Scott?
He's my stepdad. He definitely knows, and if he doesn't know,
What about your mom? What was that like coming out to your mom?
my
When-
mom was the most difficult, I'd say, just because me and my mom have been through so much.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad died, so my mom was like the parent.
Mhm.
I mean, I never viewed Scott any more than just like replacement, not just a placeholder.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Mom is mom. She raised us. And I think that's one thing. When you risk breaking down how somebody views you, somebody that raised you and you love and respect, it's terrifying
Yeah.
to tell them, I'm not who you think I am.
And that could be said not even in such an extreme as this. That could just be said about like, I don't align with your political views, right? Like, but to take it to that extreme of like, this is who I am and this is who I identify sexually, and especially because we've already covered that, like, you come from a religious family and your mom is that, right? So like, you love and respect your mom and she is this pillar for you. I would assume, but I want to hear from you, but I would assume that that would just almost feel like almost like a letdown, like telling her would disappoint her.
That's one thing that I wanted to state too, is I had no idea I knew you told mom that you were bi and that it wasn't fully believed. It was thought of to be a phase, quote unquote. So I had no idea that you were fully out to her until literally a month ago. So I'm interested.
I mean, we've touched base on it. Every conversation I have with her, it just seems it's not like getting through. I think like we don't talk about it ever, because I think to myself like not talking about it is better than talking about it and she'll just like reject it.
I'm here to tell you that's not right. That's not correct. Mom loves you no matter who you love. And I can 100% verify this because I've talked to her about it, and you can have that candid conversation with her. Just understand that she might not fully understand for a while, but she 100% wants you to be happy and love who you love.
And she supports you. I hear you saying that you're protecting yourself because you don't want to get hurt, and disappointing her would hurt you tremendously. Like, I hear you saying that. But at the same time, I know your mom and I love your mom and I respect the shit out of your mom. And what I do know, and what Allie said very blatantly, because Allie doesn't really have an emotional sensor to her sometimes, is that your mom, all she wants is for you to be happy and to love you. But
Yeah.
what I think is important about your statement there, although it might not have sounded as sensitive and emotional as what I can literally feel you saying, is that that's your perception of it, right? And you are, of the three of us, you're the one who had to come out of the closet and have that conversation. So we can't challenge your perception and say that that's not how you felt or what you were afraid of. But we are here to tell you that you do have a great support system and just remind you
Well,
of that.
yeah, but and I know that mom will like love me no matter what, but I'm always scared that she will view me as like, oh, well, he is gay, like he's not going to be able to like get into heaven or something like that. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in like heaven or hell, but I know that's what she believes in. And like whenever I even think about bringing up the topic, I'm just like, well, she's going to view me as that. Like, I'm not going to be. And like, I'm always scared that
I don't care about the microphone.
that thank you.
I'm also, I
That's-
don't want to fuck with all these chords, but I'm sending you so many hugs and vibes right now.
But-
You're going to make me cry.
I'm always scared that I'm going to lose both parents, because I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to like bring someone to like Christmas and like mom will be like loving towards that person or like accept me in that relationship. Or even like, I always think for a wedding, like, will she be like, this is wrong, like he should not be doing this? And like, I know that she's not, but like her upbringing and her religious views like say that I'm not. Like,
Can I tell you something? If your mother is willing to accept me, the foul-mouthed, argumentative, very, very politically driven little monstrosity that I am, baby, I promise you anybody you bring home will be welcome with open arms, okay?
I guarantee you that mom wants everything you just said. But I think it's a scary conversation to have because she is Christian and she does have a belief system that's different than ours.
And a strong belief system.
But that doesn't make her any less accepting of her baby.
Right.
You are her baby. She will be there for when you marry your hunk of a man.
But I think what Andrew is saying is that he's worried about her not accepting that hunk of a man. Not that he's worried about her not accepting him, but somebody else.
She will accept you.
She will
accept
accept
all
your
of
partner.
it.
You know what? It's the mom's job. I'm speaking for moms in this moment, okay? It's the mom's job to love their children, no matter what that decision make. And if you can't love your children for the decisions that they make, good or bad, right? Like, that's a conversation that you need to have with yourself as a mom. But your mom is not that mom. Your mom loves you and she'd support you.
And I guarantee you, if she listens to this episode and if we keep this stuff in, she's going to burst into your room bawling, and you two are going to have the most raw conversation you've had in
Ever.
your life, and it's going to be amazing.
we don't talk about it like ever. And like a couple months ago, she was like filling out a job resume and how she's experienced diversity, and like I was even scared to say, look, you have a gay son, like like that's diversity. Like you have 3 like multi-ethnic children, but like I said that, but I didn't say I was gay because it's just not talked about in our house like at all. And I feel like it's like a mutual thing. Like she doesn't want to talk about it, so I won't talk about it.
I empathize with what you're saying because I know what it's like to have concepts and conversations that you can't talk about with your family. Like I am on that with you, okay? Even though my conversation doesn't look the same as yours, I understand what you're saying. But hear us tell you that really what you're saying right now, Andrew, is even though you feel like you're protecting yourself, you're really just trying to protect her. You don't want to challenge her belief system, and you don't want to be the reason that she feels like she has to challenge her belief system. That's what it is. That's what I'm hearing you say. That's what I'm feeling you say. And just know there's not a single belief system. I know your mother. There is not a single belief system that would ever trump her children.
And honestly, conversation with our parents becomes easier as we become older.
It does. So I loved all of this conversation, you guys, but it is our tradition on our fifth episode. Take some time. Allie, I totally hijacked your episode. This was your episode. But here I am asking, what did we learn here today?
I learned that being goth means that you're more accepting of other communities.
You know, I learned that too today. I didn't know that.
A lot of the statistics that I found were pretty shocking to me, such as the bisexual statistics. And, you know, I honestly, I really thought that society would have increased their acceptance of people on a quicker rate than they have. So I'm kind of disappointed in that, but I guess progress is progress.
Cheers to progress. I would like to interject that I learned today that I just love you, Andrew. I mean, I knew that before, but really your openness and your ability to tell us and share these experiences with us. And I know I'm not your sister, but I look at you as my brother sometimes because of the relationship that we have as a family, right? Like all of us, and how welcoming your family has been to me and Tiny throughout my friendship with Allie. So you are my brother too. And I have a whole new love and respect for you after today. So thank you for trusting me with your feelings and your experiences, and I really appreciate that.
Of course.
Is there anything that you would like to say to our listeners or anything of that nature?
Well, if you're struggling with your sexuality in any way, shape, or form, talk to someone close. It doesn't have to be a family member. It can be a friend. Honestly, it can be a fucking stranger as long as they're not homophobic.
And they won't hurt you for it.
Yeah, talk to people about it. Don't be ashamed.
Own it, girl.
Yeah, own it. And if anyone gives you shit about it, if anyone tries to come for you, walk away. I won't take that advice. But you should walk away. But if you're a badass bitch, knock them over the head maybe.
Just be a badass bitch.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm hearing you say you learned today.
Yeah, don't do violence.
We don't promote violence on
We don't
this show.
promote violence. We promote open conversations.
And respect.
And respect. Sure. But if they don't give no respect to you, girl.
Just walk the fuck away.
Yeah.
No.
I'm going the corny route and saying knock them over the head with words. Yeah.
Or knock them over the head.
But not violently.
With a pillow.
With a pillow. Run to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Bum, bum,
buy a pillow. Go back. Confront that person. Initiate pillow fight. Win. World peace.
I love this. I really do.
So
thank you everyone for listening. Bullet points of today are a lot. I can't even surmise them for you right now.
This was amazing. I loved every bit of this.
Beautiful
Thank
episode.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Of course.
We absolutely loved having you, and we will have you back because there are obviously so many topics about this concept and this whole world that we did not cover. I want to have a specific episode about drag and all kinds of other things. Stay tuned for the goodness. But thank you to our listeners for listening and being on this emotional journey with us. There were tears, there were hugs, there were drinks galore.
If there is anyone out there that you feel could relate to this episode or needs to hear it, please share it with them. Our main goal with this podcast is to be able to have open conversations with people and let everyone know that it's okay to talk about these things. We need to encourage these conversations.
We know they're hard. That's the whole reason we're having them. That's seriously, Andrew and Allie and I could have this conversation and it would only benefit the three of us. But the reason we're sharing it with you guys is because we want it to benefit other people. We want you to be able to have these conversations on your own. Obviously not like plagiarizing our conversation because that would be weird, but leading by example. That's what we're doing here. We're including you in our taboo conversations because we know you have your own. That's what we want to encourage, is that you guys understand respectful, loving, open communication. And even though we don't agree or we might be different, it doesn't mean that we can't have these conversations.
If you have any taboo experiences that you want to share with us, we'd love to hear, especially any positive stories that you have that might inspire others to have the courage to be who they are. You can hit us up at our email, which is taboospodcast@gmail.com. Our socials, which are Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Go Celeste.
Our Facebook is Taboos. Our Instagram is Taboos the Pod, and we are new on Twitter, tweet, and our Twitter is the same as our Instagram, Taboos the Pod.
Please, dear God, follow us on Twitter. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing and I need help.
Allie's in charge of Twitter, so please just tweet the shit out of her because I refuse to get Twitter.
It's already a dumpster fire. Someone could please send help.
To complement Allie's thought about sharing stories with us specifically related to this episode, and this is something that we're going to continue to do, obviously, because we want this. We want to include you guys in the conversation, but specifically, if you've listened to this episode and something resonated with you, we really want to hear from you if you're in the LGBTQ plus community, or you are a family member of somebody in the LGBTQ plus community who really resonated with what you've heard today and Andrew's perspective on opening up to family and friends. And we really just want to hear positive, beautiful, constructive, maybe difficult, but good stories. We want to share good, you guys. So please reach out to us. Again, taboospodcast@gmail.com.
There needs to be more light in the world, and we would love if you would help add to it.
We lead with love and light.
We kind of sound like a cult.
We don't. Stay tuned, though.
Do we get, like, secret handshakes now?
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
And as always, do
Do
you.
you?
Be taboos.